hello, hello, hello. Now pretend that I'm perfect and that I didn't have my audio set up for something completely different, and it resulted in me doing part of a live stream that was completely silent. Imagine I'm not that guy. Imagine I'm perfect in almost every way. Imagine that, and that you didn't sit through me just going, it's coffee time, it's Monday. Sometimes Darren doesn't pay attention. This is why Darren can't get a job, because he's an incompetent buffoon. But don't let anybody know. Shh. It's a very carefully choreographed act that I'm competent. Right? I'm not. This time I'm going to get it right. I promise. I swear. Anyway. Pretend I've not said any of this before. But you wouldn't have heard it anyway. Let's do some snoring dog. That'll cheer me up. There she is. There. Good news, everybody. The pound has tanked. Yes, the pound has plunged to an all-time low of 1.03 against the dollar. It's true. Crazy Kwarteng, our Chancellor, his plan to do trickle-down economics has resulted in trickle-down pound sterling, or trickle-down poverty for everyone. So yeah, now the Bank of England's nervously looking at raising the interest rate. Ooh, will it go up to 5%? You know, we are fucked. You do know that. I know it's a bit early in the week to. Now I've got to find all the stories that I had. I had all these great stories, and where was I doing? Anyway, yeah. So at the weekend there was a Labour Party conference. Hooray! I still don't know what a woman is, but don't worry about that. The good news is they didn't return Jeremy Corbyn to the fold. They were voting to change the rules that would have allowed Corbyn to represent the party again. But the conference rejected the change of rules, 59 to 41, effectively ending his Labour career. Oh, and that's a shame. But don't worry, because whilst he was at the Labour conference, dear Mr Corbyn, was pictured playing Thatcher's Tech Base. Oh, what's that? It's a video game. Is it good? Nah. It was created by Jim Purvis, and what he's done is he's basically modded Doom, so he hasn't actually created a game, but he's modded Doom and put Thatcher in it. It's like, really? It's like, is that what we're doing? What year is it? Oh, don't worry, Darren. It's only 2022. How long's Thatcher been dead? But yeah, here's Corbyn enjoying, blasting the life out of Mrs. Thatcher. I mean, like I said, it's a little bit late, isn't it? It's a little bit late. But here's a screenshot. As you can see, it's your usual left-wing gibberish. There's lots of Union Jacks, and there's some sort of mutant Thatcher that you've got to kill. I guess you'd enjoy it if you're about, I don't know, 14, I imagine. But Jim Purvis is from a place called Coatbridge near Glasgow, and that kind of explains everything, really, doesn't it? Doesn't that explain everything? Oh dear. Should we do more politics? Do you want to do more politics? We can do more politics. The Italians have put in the first far-right leader since Mussolini. This is Giorgia Meloni. She's 45, a single parent of one child, and she's part of the Brothers of Italy party. And she's set to become also Italy's first female PM. Beat America. Again, they say she's far right because she's sceptical of the EU, anti-immigration, that kind of thing. Again, have to wait and see what happens, won't we? But I don't know. I kind of like the cut of her jib because she posted this picture at the weekend ahead of the vote, and I kind of like this. See, she's Melons. So she's got a sense of humour. That's got to be good. She appeals to my sense of humour. Oh dear. But we'll have to wait and see what happens there. But I don't think she's as right-wing as Mussolini, is she? Is she? We all know what happened to. We all know what happened to Mussolini. Anyway, should we do some court news? Should we see what charming people are in court at the moment? This is a fella called Jack Roach. He is 28, and he looks like he's vaping. Either that, or he's playing a kazoo. What's he been up to? Well, he was found guilty of basically harassing his former girlfriend. He was given a 2-year restraining order and ordered to pay £100 compensation. But yeah, basically, she blocked him. After a 3-month romance. This is Rachel Thomas Tier. Here she is, and she blocked him because I guess the romance fizzled out. But she had to block him because he started getting a little bit weird, and it culminated with him sending messages via her bank account. And this, again, I've never heard this before. It just shows you the creative imagination of the stalker. So he'd send her some money, but because you put like a transaction ID with the transaction, he'd put it as a hate message, like, unblock me, and scruffy little slag, and little tramp, no wonder you've got no one. And he'd bombard her with these messages. That's without, creating fake Snapchat chat accounts to hound her, and leaving unwanted candles and flowers on her doorstep. But yeah, Miss Thomas Tier is a mother of one from Little Sutton, Ellesmere, Port Cheshire, said that it's affected her so much that she no longer goes out because she's worried of bumping into her ex, and can't even take her son to the park, and it's affected her sleep due to the worry. But there you go, there's always new ways. These people always find new ways of harassing you. It's bonkers, isn't it? Absolutely bonkers. Meanwhile, this is the story of Renee Thorne-Jones, who's 21, and she's she found herself in a little bit of hot water. She set up a business called Brat Boutique, and she started selling self-defense items. Here we go. This is for like women's self-defense. And you think, oh, okay, it's one of those alarms. It's one of those alarms. No, it wasn't. It contained CS gas. And another item was a concealed knife that was stored within a key. Of course, these things are illegal, and the 21-year-old from Wythenshawe found herself in court over it. But she was lucky. She was using TikTok and YouTube, of course, to sell these items, and she made a YouTube channel which got 24,000 views on a video that she'd made of these kits. But yeah, she luckily avoided jail. The police arrested her last October, and here's a picture of the knife that's concealed as a key. I mean, blimey. But yeah, because she'd not had any other previous conditions, she handed her a 2-year prison sentence, suspended for 18 months, as well as she had to do a number of hours of unpaid work. She did plead guilty though, so there you go. I mean, it's a bit of a dumb thing to do, isn't it, really? That's really dumb. Good news, everybody. Good news. Apparently, scientists claim that 2 pints of beer a day, right, may help you beat dementia, or at least stave it off. There you go. It's a pint of beer, just in case you've forgotten what one looks like, because it's been so long you could afford to go to the pub. Yeah, the researchers seem to find that abstaining from alcohol seems to carry no protective benefits against dementia. Wait a minute. But experts note that whilst moderate alcohol consumption may stave off the cruel disorder, excessive drinking is dangerous. So it's like a fine line. It's a fine line. The team from University of New South Wales gathered data from 15 old studies. It wasn't even a new study. But anyway, they did a study. They don't know what they're talking about. Thing is with the drinking, right, is if you drink too much, you still forget where you live and how to get home. But that's got nothing to do with dementia. Mind you, most of us can't afford to buy a pint these days. So we're fucked, aren't we? We're all fucked. Yeah? Yeah? No? Right then. Good news, everybody! Researchers in China have found that men who drink tea have better sperm. I'm going to do this joke again. Imagine that you've never seen it before. It's good I've got it at hand, isn't it? It's just visual props. I'm just glad everyone can hear me this time round. Researchers at the Hubei University in Wuhan, oh no, not Wuhan, concluded that tea drinking may improve male reproductive health. And then they studied the sperm quality of 1,400 men. That's an awful lot of baby gravy, isn't it? That's a lot. That's a lot of swimmers to look at. But yeah, I mean, they didn't say whether there was milk and sugar in this tea, but because it is China, they drink a lot of green oolong, and it's mainly black, no sugar. So compared to non-tea drinkers, those who enjoyed a mug of tea enjoyed a higher concentration of sperm and more mobility in this sperm. Great. God, it's only Monday. Don't worry, it gets worse. Meanwhile, trans charity mermaids have been exposed. Mermaids have been very, very pro-trans. Who doesn't love trans? We're all trans, aren't we? Yeah. I identify as a blonde waitress at the moment. Anyway, the Daily Telegraph did an investigation and found that they've been offering chest binders to children as young as 13. Again, for those of you who aren't in the know, chest binders are being used by an increasing number of teenage girls to flatten their chests in order to help them pass off as male. Yeah, it takes more than flattening your chest to be a man, you know. And this shows you the weird cultural time we live in, where this ideology is it's like a cancer. It's just spreading everywhere, and it's a very dangerous. Again, it's when you're an adult, do what you want, you knock yourself out. Doesn't bother me. I don't care. Good on you if that's what you want to do. But it's children's age, and again, especially when there's a higher proportion of autistic children that's affected by this nonsense, you know, that's being pushed, and it's being pushed in schools as well. You know, I could say more, but I can't. Just take that as is. You know, and it's good that the Telegraph are doing this, because, you know, mermaids really needs to be, like the Tavistock, needs to be shut down, because it's not helping anyone. It's just going to lead to more damaged individuals in 10 years' time. But there you go. Meanwhile, this is a horrible story that's come out of Russia. This is that was known as the number 88 school in Izhevsk, which is in the capital of Russia's Udmurt Republic, which is about 600 miles east of Moscow. There's been a mass shooting, 13 killed. Again, this is early days yet, they're not quite sure the whole story, but 13 killed, 7 of which they reckon are children. But the shooter, it initially came out that the shooter was there to protest against the conscription. As you've heard, Russia, there's been a big backlash against the conscription that Putin's brought in. He wants to raise 300,000 mobilised troops, and there's been stories of people fleeing to Georgia, women breaking the bones and legs of their partners and husbands just to escape conscription. And this fellow, again, the initial report was that he went there because his friend had been conscripted, and he shouted, "No one's going anywhere," and shot the people that were signing people up to go off. The story's changed over time. Now they're saying he's a domestic terrorist and he had evidence of Columbine, so I don't know. I'm not sure how this, where this story's going, but it's still, whatever way you look at it, it's a pretty awful thing to happen. But people are fighting back, unfortunately. Oh dear. What else have we got here? Oh, this is problems for OnlyFans. Don't worry, I haven't got an OnlyFans account. I kept threatening it, but yeah, OnlyFans been to court recently. The European Court of Justice found in favour of Her Majesty's, or His Majesty's now. It would have been Her Majesty's when the case began, but then it changed to His Majesty's Review and Customs, because the website company hasn't been paying enough VAT between 2017 and 2020, and yeah, they're looking at £11 million in unpaid taxes. I can't show that picture, but this is Tim Stokely. He created the business. He sold 75% of the share of the business in 2018 and made loads and loads of money. So, yeah. But yeah, the company's been shrouded in controversy. Last year, BBC proved that there wasn't enough checks for under 18-year-olds to start OnlyFans accounts. So, yes. And this is a peculiar one. We have this. Have you heard that show Married at First Sight? They have various versions of it over the world. I think they have like a US one and an Australian one, but the UK one has just, there's a story that's broke, and this is the story of George Roberts. Here he is, looking kind of dapper, and he took part in the show. I think it was last year, and he married former Miss Great Britain April Banbury. But now it's been broadcast. 3 women have come forward who had relationships with him, and said that they were shocked by his inclusion in the show, because they've all complained to police about his abusive behaviour in the past, and he was controlling, coercive. And here he is, on the show. There's another picture of him actually on the show. But yeah, the programme makers say they were completely unaware of his behaviour, and but like the women involved said they raised concerns with Channel 4 after seeing trailers for the show. So there you go. Are they doing enough to protect these people? Probably not. Where are we? Trying to find a good. Are there any good stories? Not really. It's a political story. This is Tom Tugendhat, the Tory MP, being chased by cows. He was doing a live stream, I guess, and are they Conservative cows or are they Labour cows? We'll never know. But yeah, the new Minister for the State of Security was surrounded by a herd of cows on Sunday. He was streaming it to Twitter. Pull the other one. It's not good one, is it? It's not good. It's all pretty awful. It's all pretty. These stories are rubbish, Dan. These are rubbish. Meanwhile, this is the story of Veronika Loganova. She's a fashion blogger in Russia. Here we go. Here she is. And yeah, she's fallen foul of the authorities. She has 556,000 followers on Instagram, and yeah, she's been hauled before prosecutors, and she's accused by the why do I always get these words? Kuntsevaskia Inter-District Prosecutor's Office. She's been accused of extremism by performing actions to attract users to social networks of Facebook and Instagram. She's too popular. She stands out too much. So she could be facing 6 years in jail for being too popular on Instagram. And here she is. Again, see why she's popular. I mean, really? And it's something for the dads here. And yeah, she's looking at jail time. She's only 18. Isn't that bonkers? Isn't that bonkers? Meanwhile, we had a load of British prisoners released by the Russians. One of them was Aidan Aslin. Well, his mum. Here he's pictured with his mum. She revealed how his torturers contacted her and sent her pictures of her son being tortured. And she, she said, I stood up to him. They call her, and she said, she said, you don't want to see your son tied and bound, but I killed a Russian in the background demanding things. But I refused to be cowed, so I fought back. I told him to fuck off every time. Can you imagine poor Aidan in the background going, "Mum, no," as they hit him with the rubber coshes. Don't tell him that, Mum. But he's out now, and I mean, I must admit, it takes some balls, doesn't it? Yeah, it takes some balls. Let's go to Michigan. This is the story of Mark David Latunska, and this is what he looks like. Let me just get him in frame here. Here he is. This story's been running for a while. I can't remember if we covered it before. I feel like we might have done, but it's he's admitted to eating and killing a man he met on Grindr in 2019. Previously, he claimed an insanity defence. What do you mean there's no sanity clause? This is he pleaded guilty in Michigan on Thursday to murder and mutilation. The 50-year-old pled guilty in front of a Michigan judge of the December 2019 slaying of a 25-year-old student that he'd met on Grindr. And this is the student he met and ate. But yeah, he initially claimed insanity, but they studied him and said no, he was fit to stand trial. And they're just waiting now for the verdict. And the name of his victim, Kevin Bacon. Okay, we'll do this one. This is a good one. Yeah, this is urology case reports. Yay! Urology case reports. That's our favourite. Our favourite medical journal. This is the story of a boy in Shanhui province in central China. The 11-year-old was struggling to urinate, and doctors couldn't understand. They was going, why Why couldn't he urinate? So of course they did a scan, didn't they? They did a scan, and they found an acupuncture needle in his urethra. Yeah, and here is that needle, the 8 centimetre needle, so about that big, not that big, had been inserted into his urethra and pushed towards his bladder. And here's another. Oh no, this is a different case. This is an Iranian boy. He managed to put an 87mm sewing needle into his urethra. Thanks, Urology Case Reports. You'll always get us the best stories. Oh dear. Should we finish on an animal story? Okay then. This is firefighters in Cockfield Fell, County Durham, and they had to rescue a horse. Here he is. He fell in a hole. They wanted to know why the long face, and he said, "Because I fell in a hole, and I'm a horse." But yeah, firefighters managed to free the animal with a rope. I mean, that's quite a big hole in the ground, and he was seen running off with his little horse friends into the field. There we go. So we end on a happy horse story. What would we do without the County Durham and Darlington Fire and Rescue team, eh? What would we do? There'd be a horse stuck in a hole. Well, I think it went better the second time. Is there anyone in the chat? I'm just embarrassed. I've embarrassed myself. I'm just an embarrassed. I'm more embarrassing than usual. Shall we see if there's anyone in there? Yeah, some people noticed. Oh dear. Well, I can only apologise. The next video. That's why, because I was doing something for another video that involved audio, and I forgot to put my audio settings back to how they should have been, because I'm a plonker, Rodney. But we'll get there. Anyway, hello Karen, hello Scott, hello David, and thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Oh dear, killing the channel one video at a time. That was the news. You better drink it up. That was so embarrassing. I'm an embarrassment. Ta-ta.